Alrighty, folks. Now it's time to go on to our fourth category of the night. The ACA has a lot of productions going on, and we also have a lot of different hosts that do a lot of different shows. And some of those hosts have made appearances on this show in one way or another, particularly through calling into the show. So this next category is a fun one to say. It's our favorite ACA/YouTube host caller. And here's Martin to give those results.
Some episodes of Truth Wanted involve favorite topics of other ACA show hosts, and they feel compelled to call in and join the conversation. The nominees in the category of the favorite ACA show host caller are Johnny Angel.
I was just told not to ask if you can hear me, but I'm asking you anyway because I guess you didn't hear me before. Thanks for having me on,
that's
man.
right.
And
You get the one exception to that rule. So because we were having some issues, but thanks.
Neil, the 604 atheist.
They're up on the ceiling, and Neil, you're calling into the show. What's going on, man?
Yeah. Hello, Jim.
Hey.
Actually, I was calling in because I was in the chat earlier, doing my moderating stuff, and I said Jim should come on my show and share his deconversion story, and someone said I should call in and look for the truth in that.
It is the
Shannon Q.
Shannon Q calling in to Truth Wanted. Shannon, what's going on?
Hi, how you doing? I'm good. I love you
good.
both. I'm calling in to fangirl about Autumn because I love her so much. You're all right too, Dan. You're okay.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll take it.
And the winner is Shannon Q.
That's higher than I generally give you. You're right.
Yeah.
So I have a couple options for you, essentially. So several things came up during the show. I've been listening start to finish that I thought were interesting, and I wanted to talk to you guys more about because I'm incredibly selfish and I want to have dialogues with you guys about these things. So they're just like, so the first was the idea of the angry atheist, because I think that that's very interesting. And the second was the idea surrounding Jesus mythicism, because I think that that's an interesting concept. So I guess I'll let you guys pick which question.
Shannon, I think
spin the wheel.
I think the angry atheist thing is right up your alley. I think that's something you can speak to. So let's go with that.
Okay, I'm absolutely open to that because I think it's a really interesting concept to delve into. So I said in the live chat earlier, for anybody who's watching from the start, that it's been in the live chat or is watching later, that I went through a phase that I wasn't necessarily angry, although I think some of my behaviors maybe manifested as angry, because I was frustrated with myself because I felt foolish. I felt as though I was an idiot. I had been fooled. I had been duped by something, and how could it be that I was so trivially foolish as to not investigate something that was so paramount to so many portions of my perspective on how I view the world and interact with people, as to just assume it. So I went through a phase where I behaviorally was, in retrospect, attempting to prove to myself that I wasn't a moron, that I was in fact smart. And that came off as kind of caustic. So I'm wondering if that resonates with either of you, or because I didn't hear Autumn necessarily talk about that. And I know how brilliant Autumn is. So I was wondering if you might have some input.
Yeah, Autumn, you go first because I've been talking a lot.
Gosh, my story's so weird because I just wanted to feel happy at the point that I recognized my atheism, that I just didn't want to feel bad feelings. I've had moments where I felt angry, and I guess it more has been at the people who indoctrinated me, because I feel like this was not an angry atheist phase. These are like angry atheist moments, right? Excuse me, I'm having that demon voice thing again. Basically, I was more upset with the people who indoctrinated me, because I'm like, you should have known, and you should have maybe not been so strict in your structure of how you ran things in the house and how you talked about these things. There should have been more open-minded. I guess yeah, I guess I've been more upset with that than myself. But I think because I spent so much time beating myself up as a Christian, that by the time I learned that I didn't have to do that anymore, like, oh, I don't have to beat myself up. I can just say, like, you know what, I'm a human and I'm learning. That was so relieving to me that I guess that's like a sucky answer to you though, right? It's like I can't relate.
No.
Like I want to say that I relate to not wanting to feel vulnerable. Like I want to ideas that are to people, and I don't want to say something where I look like I don't know what I'm talking about, where I look vulnerable. And so I can relate to that sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, to me, that's an informative answer, because I think there's a trope that all atheists kind of go through deconversion the same way, and it manifests the same way behaviorally. And that's why there is this trope about this sort of angry atheist phase. And even when I went through the phase, I don't see that I was necessarily angry. It's just in retrospect, I was hyper vigilant in attempting to engage in these dialogues and prove what I knew now, because I felt foolish, but I wasn't angry. I wasn't attempting to, assert that I had a deference and intellect that needed to be recognized. It was more so that I wanted to prove to myself that I could demonstrate these arguments. And it sounds to me as though you're saying that this was, from a psychological perspective, kind of a relief to you, because you had gone through this indoctrination cycle where you'd already had these internal feelings that you should be ashamed of yourself, or that you weren't smart, or that you weren't getting things, or that your dissonance regarding the subject matter was somehow a reflection on your intellect. And it was a source of relief for you instead. So I think that the juxtaposition between our perspectives is actually an important message, because it shows that there is not just one type of deconversion, and that all of them are really important to talk about, because not everybody's going to relate to the deconversion story of somebody else and how they dealt with it. So I appreciate you sharing that, actually, and being honest.
Oh, what's that? The crew is telling me that we actually have our winner of this category on the line here to give an acceptance speech. Crew, take it away.
Hi, Dan and the Truth Wanted family. I'm very excited today. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate it. I just want to say that it's always been an absolute pleasure to be able to come on Truth Wanted as a co-host. But what I've enjoyed the most, and what I've been so lucky to be able to take advantage of as a viewer, is calling in to get insight and bounce ideas off of all of the amazing guests that you've had on. So this one is one that I'm really excited to accept, because I am very selfish, and sometimes I do call in, and it's about time that I was rewarded. Honestly, let's be fair, for my selfishness. Anyway, guys, hope you have a happy holidays, and as always, help elevate the discourse.